You clicked on this video because you want to hear the latest about Gervonta Tank Davis, the face of boxing. That's why you clicked. I'm here to deliver. Now, Tank's representation, his team, they've come out to speak out against the BS rumors that are going out in boxing. I'm going to clear that up for you guys in this video. Make sure you stay tuned to the end. Now, longtime collaborator and team member with Tank, Leonard Ellerbe, had something to say because it's funny that I said this in a recent video, is the rumor mill is off the chain in boxing. People at this rate, clickbait, doing anything, say anything, making up news, things like that. Tank's team spoke out. Leonard Ellerbe put, "Let me clear this BS, ish rumor up." So let me set the record straight. Let me clear this up. There was never no negotiations for El Rayo, as he was not available, and Tank Davis dang sure didn't request no rehydration. Some of y'all just say anything for clicks. Now, the great thing, shout out to my dude Leonard Ellerbe. The great thing about this tweet is I know he's not talking about me because I never did this. However, there are a lot of content creators who have put out nonsense and things like that. I tell you guys all the time, there's a lot of low quality content. Audio's bad, visuals are bad, thumbnails are bad. People are just in an effort to get something out there first. They don't care if it's right. They don't care if it's accurate. They just want to get something out for the clicks and views. What better way than to talk about face of boxing, Gervonta Davis? Let me just put out BS, and it's really up to you guys, the fans. If you guys like the National Enquirer style news and just a bunch of TMZ, gossipy, sensationalized BS that is seldom true, then keep supporting that. If you want the real, come to Death Row East, Boxing Ego, believe in that. So it is what it is. I keep saying the same thing because it's true. Now you hear Leonard Ellerbe, who works with Tank Davis, and he's saying the notion is not true, right? And stay tuned to the end of the video because I got another surprise for you guys. So when it comes to Gervonta Davis, it's hilarious how many things are made up about the man. People say he's not the face of boxing, but they can't stop speaking his name. How, like, it's almost an oxymoron. It's like you're trying to say he's not important, he's fighting bad people, you know, all the stuff the typical Tank haters say, right? He don't fight no one good and all this other goofy stuff. Yet his name, even more so than Canelo, I would say. Canelo, he does bring an audience. He does great live gates, you know, for the most part or whatever. But that's when he's fighting. Whether Gervonta Davis, he ain't fought since Frank Martin, and his name is just ringing all types of bells and constantly in the news cycle. And he ain't really said, the most he said is like dissing Edgar Berlanga on social media. He ain't really said nothing about his next fight and all this, but people are making it up. So it shows you how important to the infrastructure in the boxing lifeline that Tank is, because people, whether they love him or hate him, they can't stop talking about the man. I've made several tweets and videos, and I've told you, I won't believe it until I hear from Tank or somebody closely affiliated with Tank's team. Now we're hearing it from Tank's team, right? Everything else is speculation. People are, oh, El Rayo this and that and arguing. You're making up your own arguments because now we get clarification from Tank's team, and this was not really even a thing that was explored heavily, right? Furthermore, when it comes to Gervonta Davis, the reality is this. Gervonta Davis has been avoided by several people since he keeps knocking everybody out, right? Where you don't see people, like he was in negotiations for Lomachenko. Loma, out of nowhere, deep in negotiations, says, I don't feel like fighting. I want to spend time with my family and relax or whatever. I'm not in the mood. He said he's not in the mood to fight. What kind of is that for a prize fighter? So the fans claim that Lomachenko wanted to fight Tank Davis for several years. This is the closest you ever have gotten to actual negotiations to make it happen for whatever reason. And then now conveniently you're not in the mood. He not in the mood. It's like when you want to bump uglies with your girl and she's like, I got to get up early in the morning. I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like it. Right? What type of stuff is that? So that's one option. Pitbull Cruz end up losing to Rayo. Rayo, his team already said, people are arguing about 35 and 40 and why won't Tank do this and that? But the reality is Rayo's team already went on record stating they didn't plan for him to come back this year. So that doesn't seem to be a likely suitor for November, December to close the year. So that's not really Tank Davis's fault, right? As far as Rayo at 35 and 40, listen, when you're the A side, you call the shots. I can't make it any clearer than that. If you're De La Hoya, you're the cash cow. If you're Floyd Money Mayweather, easy work. Like I said before, hard work, dedication. He's a young, hungry lion. Shane Mosley looked like Avatar, right? When you earn your spot, Canelo Alvarez, and you get to that pinnacle, everybody else has to submit to what you said. Point blank, period. Oh, why did Tank fight Barrios at 140, but he doesn't want to fight El Rayo? It don't matter. He the A side. If Rayo really want the work, then he probably got to do it at the weight that Tank Davis wants. And here's the thing. Rayo is a career 135-pounder. He got an offer to fight Pitbull. He beat Pitbull. Fair play to him at 140. Now people are doing what they did with Ryan Garcia, another Mexican-American fighter, and they're making it sound as if Ryan Garcia and El Rayo are career lifers at 140 pounds, and Tank is just trying to stifle them and drain them. These guys were at the division, and again, when you're the A side, you call the shots. So hopefully I made that very clear. You know, oh, why do you fight Barrios? It's none of your business why you fought Barrios at 40. He did it. Then he's a champion at 35. He's the A side. That's the division he's fighting out of. Everybody else get in line. You think Canelo Alvarez is going to let Benavidez dictate some terms when he's the ace? It's just how the game goes. So many people have been ruled out. Then the funniest thing is you got the Haniacs who are talking about guys like Shakur Stevenson for Tank. Why? Why are we talking about Shakur, who's clearly out for the rest of the year, per his own words, and he already has a fight in February, presumably against William Zepeda in Feb 2025. What are we talking about Shakur for? He's injured and he already has his next fight. And people are somehow making it like, oh, why doesn't Tank go after Shakur? Shakur has his own business. If he wanted Tank so bad, why didn't he go where Tank is at? Why would he sign with Eddie Hearn and Pax with Turkey and Riyadh season? You guys got to think. And my channel is for that. If you're an independent, deep thinker, then you'll enjoy my channel. Finally, save the best for last. I told you, just to further cement my greatness as the best in the business, I got a receipt. This is El Rayo in a recent interview, Face of Boxing TV.
About a week ago and say that you declined that fight?
I mean, it wasn't really an offer, you know. It wasn't really an offer. It was more like I was just asked about Tank. I said, not at 35, you know, and we never really dove into it. There was no, details or nothing.
Media come out about a week ago and
that was El Rayo. He says, I was briefly asked about a fight with Tank Davis, but I just said I don't want to do the fight at 35. Again, I've already went over this. You don't get to dictate that if you're not the A side. So you can't blame Tank for that. Secondly, he just told you it was something that was floated, but it never got anywhere, which is what Leonard Ellerbe is basically saying. So people are like, oh, man. And here's the other thing. Because, man, listen, because I'm the best in the business, I gotta do y'all greasy. Notice the Inshakurs, the Haniacs, and whoever else doesn't like Tank Davis, they are not consistent. Before the Frank Martin fight, they said Tank doesn't want to fight black fighters, slick, athletic black fighters, right? This was the notion and narrative that they put out. Tank avoiding black guys, right? He fights a black guy, destroys him in Frank Martin with 2 punches, highlight reel knockout, backflip, but they were previously saying he didn't want to fight athletic black, slick style fighters, American style fighters, and he wants to fight flat-footed Mexican, flat-footed Latinos. This is what it was out. Then he destroys a black, slick, athletic guy who's bigger than him and has power and is a southpaw in Frank Martin earlier this year, and now they're complaining, and some people are now pitching that Tank is ducking El Rayo, but the same people and individuals said they didn't even want him to fight flat-footed, Hispanics, or they were tired of him fighting Latino fighters. So Tank, keep doing your thing. You can't win for losing. People are bound to hate. So you can hate my channel. You can hate Tank. I don't really care. The checks cash just the same. Deuces.